Hey guys, back again. Starting to do a little residential home here. Um, you see right behind me, it's all CPVC. Um, Pretty easy little house here. Actually, it's not a house; it's a an ADU, and they do that here in this state, uh, Portland, and they're required in any type of ADUs you guys build in Portland. Um, It's just a requirement, even if the house is not sprinkled. Anytime you build an ADU on your property, they're required to have fire sprinklers in here. So um, here's kind of a little bit of layout. So what I do is I first, like when I come in and do a job, something like this, I try to get myself all set up, situated. Right now it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. And what I do is I take my pipe, eh, all 1 inch, and I just get it all up in the rafters about where it's gonna go. Once I get that up there, then I start with the hangers. And then once the hangers were all set, then I start going in and I start setting my fittings, like my T's and my 90s, wherever I'm gonna set a sprinkler head or whatnot. So this is the beginning of it. I'm probably not going to film it all the way through, but I'll be back and I'll have a little bit more installation for you. But right now, it's just I just got pipe thrown up in the rafters, or just just about getting ready to start piping it. So I will see you in a little bit. Ah, here's what it looks like here, and put all my hangers over here. And then I'm running well pipe. There's a lot over here. We use on these, we call them no block hangers. Um, and the reason they call them no blocks, because usually back in the day we would put 2x4s under this to keep it up above. And then we use these double offset hangers like this. So I don't know if you can see those. Show you one here a little better. But basically they just sit on the side, and then you don't have to put a block across all the way across here, all this area here. You just attached it to the side there, and then you can run your pipe along the side of this truss. They're pretty nice. The whole nice thing about them is you're not having to cut any extra wood that you don't have to cut. So another thing too is when you guys are, getting ready to start putting up hangers and stuff, what I do and prepping yourself in the morning to get ready to go is always a good thing. Yeah. So before I start putting up my hangers, I just grab all my no blocks and I just go come on my ladder right there. Got my grill set up there, and I'm not, I've got a place to put all my hangers here as I go and move my ladder, and just little small things like that. I know it seems stupid, but little things like that will help speed up the process when you're piping and putting hangers up. It's just one less step, and you're not having to climb up and down the ladder continuous to go grabbing some more hangers. So you just get them all on your ladder there, and bada bing, bada boom, goes pretty quick. So I'm gonna get ready to start cutting and putting in fittings, and I will be back shortly. There you go, guys. Just finished up. Got all my piping in. Just Here's the thing here in Portland, Oregon. They have a rule here now that when you put in ADUs on your property, you're required to put sprinklers in them. The exception to that, I guess, is that if it's more than 100 feet back from the front of your property line, then it's required to put a sprinkler system in. So I don't know what it's like in your guys' jurisdictions, but that's here in Portland. When you're getting ready to cut a sprinkler head in, you always want to get with your contractor or the owner or whoever's running the job, and you want to get that information on what they're gonna put up here on the ceiling. On the sometimes they might put RC channel or hat channel or double layer rock. You always want to check with them because it can be different every single time. That's important when you go to cut your sprinkler head in, because you don't want to have to deal with that trouble after all the sheetrock's up. So what a lot of times I do is I will go to the contractor and get the information on what the ceiling's going to be, and I'll write it on a piece of paper and I'll say, hey, can you sign this so that you can verify that this is what you told me it is? Because if you don't do that, somewhere at some point, sometimes I've had a couple situations over the years where they changed the ceiling height on me and didn't tell me. And so I was able to take my piece of paper back and back charge or do a change order on it. So I was able to cover my butt. So if there's anything I can help you guys out with, get them to sign out a little piece of paper. It just says, hey, this is what you told me the ceiling height is, and this is what I'm gonna cut my sprinkler heads in. And it should be cool, all right? So when you're getting ready to cut a sprinkler head in, this one here is 1/2 inch. You always wanna make sure that when you cut that sprinkler head in, and you know that this is going to be like a 1/2 inch layer of sheetrock, what I like to do is when I measure from the makeup, that's the makeup of the T, and I'll measure all the way down to, and I'll use like a flat edge going across the joist, and I'll measure to the flat edge to where the sheetrock finishes, and then I'll minus 1/4 inch from that. So you always want these things to be a little bit recessed, and because the cups, when you go to put the trim on, they're like an inch and a half. So you got an 1.5 inch play of height difference. So when I tell guys to cut heads in, it's better to be a little short than to be too long, because you can always fix short. You can always fix it when if your escutcheon's deep enough, usually you can get that that trim to work. If it's too long and it's sticking below, you got to cut the sheetrock out and go in and lift your hanger or recut the drop, whatever it is. A lot more messier. So I always tell guys, when you're cutting the sprinkler head, it doesn't matter what you're doing, steel, plastic, whatever. Cut your drops 1/4 inch back from finish. Sometimes if you know that the trim is really deep, go 3/8 to 1/2 inch. And you'll always have it trim out the way you want it. You won't have to cut sheetrock. And if you're way up too high, then we can use a 1/2 inch extension in the sprinkler head. If we have to pull that drop and then put an extension on it and then put it on. I only recommend you only use one extension. If you're using 2 extensions, then you're measuring your drops wrong or your tape measure's messed up. So anyhow, that's how you cut a sprinkler head in.
you'd be, you'd be surprised. And a lot of these new guys, they'll come in there and they don't pay attention. I always tell them, if I gotta come back and cut sheetrock out because you didn't cut the head the way I told you to cut it, yeah, I get pretty frustrated when I gotta go in and cut a bunch of sealing out just to fix a sprinkler head. So, new guys, make sure you take the time, man. Cut these right every single time. And then double check your work before you get off that ladder. Double check it. Your foreman will appreciate you, especially when it's time to trim. Okay, guys, that's it for today, and hope you like this video. Subscribe and like, and hopefully we'll bring you some more content soon. See you guys.